You got to live it up and party while you're young. You hear this all the time. Like people that are in their 20s especially. Hey, I'm making good money. I'm only going to be young once. Let me go out there. Let me live it up. I'm only going to be this age once in my lifetime. Let's just YOLO, right? You're just going to throw it out on the line. And so why I think this is such a mistake is because if you're able to do, like, this is what I talked about 10 years ago, I would have been the wrong person. If I had gotten this wealth 10 years ago, you would not be here today. And I'm saying this as a guy who just turned 34 years old. I know that at 24, I would not have been entrusted with this. So I understand this mindset. If I had done what I do now back in my 20s and had that stewardship mindset, had that maturity, had that idea of, look, my life's not always going to be my 20s. I'm going to be in my 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm going to have a family. I would be so far ahead of where I am right now. I would have been a decade ahead of where I am right now. And so that mentality, any time where you think that consequences be damned, I'm just going to do right now for what is instant gratification. If I make a lot of money, I'm spending a lot of money. Like, you're in the moment, you're thinking it's awesome. 10 years from now, you can look back on it and you're just going to shake your head and be like, what was I doing? If I had just been a good steward, you can still have fun. That's the other thing. You can have a bunch of fun and do a lot of awesome stuff, but yet people think that all of a sudden they leave their 20s and now life's over. And it's, no, man, I'm having more fun now than I've ever had in my life. And I have more kids than I've ever had. I've been married longer than I've ever had, and it's amazing. And I can't wait for the next 10 years, right? So I think that idea is just, make sure when you start making money, regardless if you're making $25,000 a year or $250,000 a year or $2.5 million, whatever it is, that you are building a legacy. From the day that you leave your house and you're on your own, especially as a man, and it's also for women too, but as a man, you are building that legacy. Your legacy with your word, with your character, your legacy with how you treat other people, and what you're doing with your money. And start that legacy off strong. Okay, so next one. You don't learn from non-mainstream sources, aka academics. This is something I wish I spent more time on. But I was actually pretty good. For being in my 20s, I actually learned from a lot of non-mainstream sources. And I think it's one of the most important things you can do. Obviously, you go to school, you get your degree, all well and good. But using your time wisely. Looking back on it, I have 3 kids now under the age of 5. I'm married, and they make my life amazing. But I have a lot less free time than I used to have, obviously. And so it kills me when I think about all the time that I wasted before all of that. I wasted so much time. What was I doing? I literally am doing, what I was doing at 24 is literally like a tenth of what I'm doing now. And I had 10 times more time. So it blows my mind. Like, I was wasting so much of that time. Now, granted, I did read a lot. I definitely watch a bunch of things on YouTube about starting businesses and different investing ideas. So I definitely was not wasting it completely, but still, I look back on it, so much of that time was just watching TV shows or just doing stupid stuff that gave no benefit to myself or to people around me. And so making sure that as you are getting started down this journey, go out there, learn from as many people as possible. Go on YouTube, watch this video, watch other videos, watch just anyone out there. Some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad, but you're constantly learning and challenging yourself to go out there, learn new things, go down rabbit holes, understand why things are the way they are. And by doing that, you're going to be so much more ahead in your 30s than you are in your 20s, right? Just make education in all areas of life paramount. You never stop learning. You never know everything. Even in the topics where I think I know a lot about, I don't even know close to everything, right? And so just make sure that is a key part of it. The next one is that you don't develop strong habits before 25. And I would definitely say that is, now the habits that I had before 25 were not good habits, most of them, right? And you definitely perform. And if it didn't take me a bunch of time in focusing on them, having mentorship, accountability, I would still be doing some of these stupid habits that I did before I was 25 years old now, and it would be killing me. It would be killing my relationships, it would be killing everything. And so anytime, it only takes a few weeks to start a habit, right? I think it's 3 weeks of continual working out or smoking or drinking, or if you're drinking very often, like whatever it is. It takes 3 weeks of like habitual use to get to a point where it's ingrained, right? And that's obviously a litmus test for you doing something healthy. You got to do it for 3 weeks consistently, and it'll get easier because it's a habit. Before that, it's hard because you're trying to rewrite your brain circuitry to do this thing. My habit of trying to be active and getting out every day, that started way before I was 25. It was sports in high school. I've always been active my entire life. When you're in your early 20s, look at the people that are 10 years ahead of you, 20 years ahead of you. Look at the things that they do and what that has produced, right? You'll be known by the fruit that you bear. So look at that person. What kind of fruit have they borne? If it's fruit that you want, look at their habits. Do they wake up early? Do they go to church? Do they pray every day? Do they spend time with their family? Do they treat their employees right? Whatever has habits, start those habits now. You can never be too early. It doesn't matter if you're 18, 15, 25, whatever it is. Start those habits. Build it into your character. Build that into your thought processes, and it's going to take you that much further down the road. You don't understand how your past actions lead to your present reality. All our actions have consequences. Some are good, some are bad, some are just neutral, one way or the other. The younger that you learn this, and again, going back to my own self, back when I'm in my 20s, what that looks like, if I had understood the consequences for some of the actions that I was doing, besides just feeling good in the moment, this is cool, this is fun. If I actually thought about what that would do to relationships down the road, what that would do to the way I thought about opportunities, the way that I treated different people in those opportunities, all of it has consequences. It could be a consequence of the way you think about certain things. It could be a consequence of those relationships and what those relationships will mean down the road. Everything in your life is, if thinking about your life, is that it's like this linear line that's all connected for all these different actions, and they lead to this outcome. Everything you do is leading you down that path. And so if you're looking, this is why I think it's so important to find mentors and find people in your life that you want to emulate and that you look up to. Because you can look at how they got there. You can look at what that end result was. And you can say, how do I get there? All right, what are they doing that's different? Remember, extraordinary results take extraordinary actions. So if that's an extraordinary result, what was the extraordinary action that got them there? And so then you start looking down that path and you say, okay, they woke up early, they worked out every day, or they prayed every day, or they went to church very often, or they got married young, they got married older, they had a lot of kids, they had few kids, whatever it is, and start to see the patterns. And then those are the things that you can look at and say, okay, those things had a contributing factor to where they ended up. And so I'm going to emulate those things because I want to get to that end result. And so now I'm going to work my way backwards, reverse engineer this to where I am today, right? So if I want to get married and find that partner that's going to help build me up and hold me accountable and just be an amazing partner throughout my life and help me in every aspect, I have to become that person that an amazing partner would want, right? Don't think, hey, I'm just going to be whatever I want to be in my 20s, and in my 30s I'll find a great woman, as a man speaking. Because guess what? A great woman's going to want a great man. And if you're not working in your 20s on being a great man, you're not going to be it when you hit your 30s. Right? It takes time. These are not things that we just naturally be. You have to work on character. You have to work on consistently being the man that you want to be. All right. And then I would say the last one here is you overestimate the amount of time you have. In your 20s, you feel like life is literally just forever. You're always going to live. You hit your 30s, you still feel that way. But I'm now 34, I'm almost getting to the dark side of 35, towards 40. And I can tell you that life is it's moving faster and faster. Married, have kids, businesses, all that stuff. It's going faster and faster and faster. And you look back, like I remember the day my daughter was born. She's 4 years old now, and 4 years has passed, and that just blows my mind that all happened in that span of time. And so life is going to get faster and faster, and realize that it's not, your life can end the next day. You have no control over when that day comes. Hopefully you live a long life, and knowing that you're given this one life, make the most of it. And I fall victim to this. Everyone does. There's days when you're like, man, I just screwed up today. I've totally wasted this day. And man, I got to do work to be better tomorrow. And that's the mindset you need to have, right? You've been given a gift. The gift is life. You have this one life. Use it to its max every single day. And to be able to create the result that you want. And for me, to give glory to God in everything that I say and do. To then pass that on to my children so that they do the same thing and they give glory to God in everything they say they do, and they build that legacy, right? You're building that legacy past your own lifetime, passing it on to your children and their children.